G'day everybody, Duckville here with you today. We're going to have a look at a match from the Korean server sent in by a very good friend of mine, Mr. OneStar. We have done a few casts of this fantastic Terran player before. He's really high quality, some great APM on this young player. And yeah, we'll see how he goes today. As you can see in the chat here, he's facing off against a very famous foreign Protoss player. But as we can see, we've got OneStar starting out on the top right-hand side of Antigua Shipyards. Of course, we are on ladder, so there's no forced cross spawns. There is a goal. There's no supply depots blocking the bottom of the ramp, all that sort of stuff. And just up to the top, to the bottom left-hand side of the map is EGHuk. Of course, he's now actually EGHuk. So Huk going to be playing against our Terran friend here, and we'll see how he goes. Of course, Huk, a fantastic player of phenomenal skill, and he's been doing really well recently. So we'll see how he goes. In fact, now that I think about it, I'm actually casting this on the afternoon, a few hours before Huk is actually taking on his opponent in the GSL Code A matches. He's actually facing off against Bumblebee, who you may know as Terrius, previously on FOU. I don't know if he's actually now part of FXO. I don't think so, but I don't know. We'll see how he goes. Hopefully everyone is doing a bit of cheering for Huk tonight. Of course, Idra is also playing. Hopefully both of the guys went well. By the time this cast gets up, the games will already be done and dusted. So you guys will know the results. Meanwhile, me here in the past, I don't know what's going on. I need more gigawatts to get my time machine going. But we will see how Huk decides to play this out. It looks as if OneStar has gotten out of the very quick wall off here. The supply depot just going down there just in the nick of time to make sure that that probe cannot get inside. But the probe, of course, being a Huk probe, will spin around the right way for once, is going to get some harassment done, trying to take a few shots at that supply depot. But of course, it's not going to be going down too far with the SCV building on it. And as we can see, we've got an SCV just heading out from OneStar. So standard sort of openings from both of these guys. It looks as if Huk may go for a 1-gate expand here. The reason we can see that is that the second gas has not been taken, despite the fact that the cybernetics core is over halfway done. So we'll probably see 1, maybe 2 stalkers pop out. It sort of depends how you like to play. And then you can expand off of that very quickly. Sometimes you can see players take the extra gas and then actually not put any probes inside, just to sort of fake out the Terran, because when you come inside and you see this, as we obviously saw, it's a very blatant clue as to what the Protoss is doing when the second gas hasn't been taken. So OneStar just checking that out. I'm not actually sure if that did reach the assimilator. I would assume it did. It should have seen the building if it didn't. But now we go with the Nexus down to the natural. So yeah, it's been just while we're in this little bit of a downtime here while the guys expand, it's been a little while since I put a cast out, so I do apologize for that. It's just been a little bit hectic, and of course it's been ridiculously hot down here in Melbourne, in Australia. So I sort of die when it gets above like 25 degrees, something like that. So recently it's been in the high 30s, that sort of stuff. For you guys in your crazy countries with Fahrenheit, that's something like, I'm pretty sure that's around 98 Fahrenheit, sort of that temperature. It's been very constant, even overnight. So yeah, I've just been dying in that sort of heat. But not doing any dying is OneStar. He's actually looking to go for, this is going to be an expand of some kind. I think this actually is, yeah, it's going to be some Banshees here. We've got the 2 gas going. We actually, while I was ranting about how hot it is, we could see that OneStar actually had a slightly lower amount of SCVs in the gas. He was just sort of timing it out so he could make sure that, I believe that was just part of a timing. Of course, if you're a Brood War fan or previously a Brood War watcher, you'll know that once things got very evolved in Brood War, we actually saw a lot of Terran players and even the other races sort of using particular timings on when to put a certain amount of harvesters inside the gas to actually make sure they're getting out enough gas or enough minerals, that sort of thing. So that could be something which is sort of evolving here, and as we can see, Huk just pushing up to the front of OneStar's base, getting a Stalker taken down. Unfortunately for Huk, the bunker not actually taking too much damage, but it has pulled 4 SCVs down to make sure that that bunker does not get annihilated. So good work there from Huk. He's actually going to catch this SCV, which is just poking out to see where those Stalkers are. They're still hanging out the front, trying to gather up some breath to blow down that front door like a wolf against a few pigs. but he's not going to get too far with just 2 Stalkers. EGHuk, meanwhile, has expanded. He's up to 30 probes, 31 in fact right now. Still got a lot of Chrono Boost available. He's going to use that to get an Observer out. We're currently sitting on 3 gates and just the 2 gas for the moment. So EGHuk just making sure that his economy is going to get into a good position. Also making sure that he's doing some good scouting on the map, as we can see. Just going to head around and see if there's any sorts of proxy shenanigans around the map. Not to mention, going to be putting down a few EGHuk pylons, which I like to call them, where you get a pylon, just sort of put them down in random sorts of positions around the map to spot drops, and also to spot also to warp in, sorry, I should say. While that's been going on, we've got a Banshee that has floated down to EGHuk's base. 1 Stalker is available, a couple of sentries as well. The Observer is just around in time to catch that Banshee before it does too much damage. It will still get a couple of kills though. He's up to 6 kills. That is some really nice control there from OneStar. He's kept that alive in fact, and he's going to be able to come back to fight another day, and we'll see how much that actually impacts EGHuk's play for the time being. But I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. He's sort of evened up on the harvesters a little bit there. He's EGHuk's up to 35 probes and OneStar is on 28, but it's still going to help out a little bit, taking out those few probes, and it looks as if now with a double Banshee he might be able to come back and get some more damage done. Of course, it takes two shots, 2 volleys from a Banshee to kill a probe. If you've got a sentry in the mineral line with Guardian Shield up, I believe it's actually 3, because it negates a little bit of that damage and it just makes it enough. But here they come, the 2 Banshees just inside. One of them a little bit low on health. The Observer is coming back. It's a little bit too far behind though. OneStar with some very nice control. However, the Observer is now in range. This is targeting down some of those probes, more being taken out. The Banshees will have to retreat because the 3 Stalkers should be enough to take care of the 2 Banshees, especially when they are quite low on HP. So we'll see how EGHuk is going to proceed from here. It looks as if we do have a Colossus on the way. The Robo is getting chronoed up quite a lot there. We've also got a, where was it? Did I see? No, I didn't. I thought I saw a Twilight Council, but not there just yet. So EGHuk is going to switch into that standard sort of Colossus tech. He's just doing a little poking around OneStar's base at the moment. We can see that there are 3 racks up. We've got a Raven prepared. Raven is a beautiful choice at this part of the game. What you want to do with this is use that to try and just float around your base, see if you can find out where that Observer is. Of course, a Protoss will generally always have an Observer just checking out and doing some observing, as they pretty much do. And if you can actually catch that Observer out, that can really annoy a Protoss. It means that they need to build another Observer to get their scouting information, which is a big requirement in this matchup. And of course, it means that that'll slow down the Colossus production. Now, EGHuk is sitting at just 2 at the moment, or no, sorry, this is the first one. He still hasn't actually gotten this one out, but Extended Thermal Lance is on the way. Another Forge coming through as well, which is going to help out with some upgrades. And it looks as if, yeah, he's actually got 2 Forges, so we're going to have a double Forge going on. Twilight Council is on the way as well, so he's going to be able to get that the particular upgrade that he's going to want, which is perhaps at this stage going to be Blink. He needs to get those Stalkers mobile so that they can get some damage on these Banshees, and as we can see here, the 1 extra Banshee now floating down into the natural expansion here has found a couple of the probes, has got 2 kills so far, may be able to get a couple more, getting 1 there and another one, maybe a 5th one as well. There it is. Oh no, there we go. Alright, he finally does catch up with that probe. The other 3 Banshees that are out for OneStar are still waiting on the other side of the map. This last one has been pushed away just for the moment, not by any Stalkers countering the Banshee inside the base, but actually by the fact that there were no more probes to kill. So he's had enough of the killing there. But OneStar, meanwhile, is just sort of still beefing up that economy. He's got tanks on the way. Siege is also coming through for those tanks as well. It looks as if we are going to have an interesting sort of 2-base version of the 1-1-1 push. We've got a lot of Marines out. We've got that Raven, which will help out with some point defense drone, and also a lot of tanks here. And now with these extra Banshees that are around, which have stayed alive the whole entire game, this is going to be a very deadly push here from OneStar. We'll see how EGHuk is going to deal with this. He does have 2 Colossi out. They've got Extended Thermal Lance, which means they can pick up a lot of those Marines before they can get into firing range. More gateways being built here by EGHuk. He does have a little bit invested in his tech. He's currently got a Colossus on the way. We've got +1 to weapons, and then also he actually cancelled the second forge which was building, so he's going to need to be very careful with what he's doing here. But the Colossus just pushing out a little bit. They're making these tanks siege up. This is what you really want to do when you're playing against one of these very hefty pushes that come along from Terrans. You want to make them siege up a little bit earlier than they would have wanted to. Normally as a Terran you'd want to sort of get to this sort of point here and start sieging up, but the Colossi have forced the tanks to siege up so that the Colossi cannot get in range of all of those Marines. But the 5 Banshees up in the air are really going to make this a bit dangerous for HUK. He has to be really careful with how far he pushes those Colossi out. Of course, you don't want to lose those at all, because if these guys go down, then this game is essentially done. And we'll see how OneStar is going to push up here. It looks as if he's going to slow push with some bunkers, letting those Marines be safe for the time being. The bunkers are outranged by the Colossi when they've got extended thermal lance, so that's one thing to keep in mind. But as we can see here, the tanks with their 13 range are more than a match for those Colossi. So we'll see what happens. OneStar still rallying down a lot of units here. We've got tanks, we've got Banshees, we've got Marines all coming down here. He's established a very nice foothold here, in fact even getting a missile turret, so there are another sort of short range counter to those Colossi. And now with 4 Colossi out, things are going to get a little bit hectic here for both of these guys. OneStar has to be very careful with these Banshees. These Banshees actually provide a lot of power in this particular build. As we can see, they can jump up into the main base, put some damage on this robotics facility. If he can take that out, he'll be in a very nice spot. And now it looks as if OneStar is going to prepare some of these tanks for a slow creep. They're going to slowly creep up. We're not talking about Warcraft 3 creeping here, we're talking about tank creeping, which is even cooler. And now a point defense drone going down. A couple of Colossi are getting a little bit close to range here, but some of the Marines and Marauders actually pushed a little bit too close. They have been fried up, and now the battle is on. HUK is going to try and push through. The Zealots soaking up a lot of the damage, and as we can see, the Banshees still up in the sky are doing quite a lot of damage. The point defense drone helping out with defending those Banshees, and it looks as if HUK has lost quite a lot of his ground units here. If OneStar can push in and take down some of those Stalkers, he will be in a very nice position. But one of the Colossi goes down. The Banshees are targeting down the Colossi, and as we can see, still trying to pick off some of those Stalkers as well. Once the Stalkers go down, this push is effectively going to win the game. And now, in fact, we can see that it looks as if the observers have actually been picked off, and HUK has one observer just gets out in time. Banshees going down left, right, and center. There is only one left over now. We've still got 5 tanks left on the ground. They're sieged up at a very nice position. The Banshee providing view of the high ground there as well. We'll have to see if OneStar can protect this. The 3 Colossi coming across. Zealous now pushing down, soaking up some of the damage. Another tank comes to the party and says, hey bros, I need to siege up and get some damage done. And he does that indeed. These 2 Colossi they're getting very low. One without any shields and one with no shields and almost no health. This is getting very precarious for HUK here. He's also getting low on Stalkers as well. If OneStar brings a few more Banshees to the battle, this is going to get a little bit out of control for HUK to deal with. And here we go. We've got 2 here. One does have a little bit of cloak left over. The other has quite a lot of cloak available to use. And we'll see if HUK is going to be able to deal with this. What has he got going inside the base? He's got a couple of gates going up. We've also got an extra gate there. We've got +1 to weapons just about to complete. The timing here for HUK is just starting to run out. If we had an hourglass, I would put that up on the screen, because things are going to start to get very messy soon, especially if HUK is only going to be relying on the gateway forces at the moment. You need some Immortals to soak up some of the damage from the tanks. You need a Colossus to deal with the ground forces as well, and also to clear out some of the tanks. What I would like to see, perhaps from HUK, if he could get a Robo out, that would be really nice to see. Perhaps a Warp Prism, put some Zealots inside that, drop them on the tanks if he can, actually just provide a bit of a distraction for the tanks and the rest of the ground forces while the Colossi can get into range and do some damage. But with no Robo on the way, he does have a Templar Archives just completing here, +1 to weapons, +1 to armor, I should say, also on the way. Banshee's doing quite a lot of damage here. The Stalkers are being deflected by the point defense drone, the StarCraft 2 version of Dark Swarm almost. And here they come. Looks as if we're going to get a lot of Zealots in the mix here. He's going to need those to soak up some of the mineral expenditure of HUK. And in fact, getting a couple of nice Templar feedbacks on the Banshees. They're actually taking out 2 of the Banshees, almost killing a 3rd as well. And here we go. It looks as if OneStar has decided it's time to get some poking done, and poke he does. 1 Banshee left over. In fact, there are 2. These guys are going to be able to get some damage done, but one of the Banshees has now been removed. Some of the tanks have also been evaporated. evaporated by the lasers of HUK, but the 2 Banshees still alive for OneStar, providing him with a lot of firepower to deal with these Colossi, and one goes down. The 2 Banshees are traded for that Colossus, and it looks as if HUK will stabilize just for the moment, but things are getting a bit out of control. As we can see, OneStar taking a 3rd base. He's got mules and SCVs all over that, and now it looks as if he's going to pack up and go home. Love this decision from OneStar. He has established a massive foothold here. He's taking control of this area. He's forced a lot of losses on the economy of HUK. He's lost a lot of units there. In fact, as we go to the units lost tab, we'll see that the resources, while almost even, it's still quite a lot for HUK to deal with, having lost so many Colossi, and now with this 3rd base up for OneStar, he's going to be able to really start ravaging HUK with a lot of production capability. As we can see, a few more racks are going to be going down. OneStar with still quite a few more minerals to spend. He's got +2 to weapons on the way. We've got the armory spinning on the ship weapons, so any Vikings that come out will be able to do quite a lot of damage to the Colossi. And now it looks as if HUK is going to try and push here, perhaps thinking that he is in a really dangerous position here. He could try and perhaps get some damage done, or maybe if he wants, he could expand to the gold, and it looks as if he's going to send some probes across. Going to try and get some minerals there, because the minerals in the main are basically done. The natural is also getting quite low, so we'll see how this goes, but it looks as if he's going to try and push in and attack against this force that OneStar has left. Looks as if the Archons are providing quite a lot of firepower and a tanking capability there. The Colossi at the back is still doing a lot of damage, but now with only 2 Archons left, HUK is not going to be able to soak up too much more damage, and now this Bioforce with its upgrades looking very nice is going to be able to be cleaned up there by HUK, but there is still a Banshee up in the sky. 2 Banshees, in fact. These guys could provide the winning capabilities here for OneStar, taking out the Colossus. The 3rd base now possibly under threat, but there is a planetary fortress here. Very surprising to see that from OneStar. I'm sure HUK was very surprised to see that. But now with all of these buildings, unfortunately, the starport getting misdirected there, also just landing out of position on the tech lab, but now landing again on the reactor. He's going to get some Vikings out, or perhaps some medevacs. Some drops would be very nice for HUK right about now, but HUK, I think, has decided that it is go time with everything. He's in such a bad position at the moment, blinking back with some of these stalkers. Very nice micro from HUK, and now the probes, I'm not sure what they were doing, but they are going to head across to the gold as well. HUK trying to find some spare minerals here, trying to get a little bit of a balance between his units and, of course, then his economy. If he can get a Nexus up, he could perhaps salvage this game, but it is looking more and more deadly by the minute here for HUK. SCVs coming to repair the planetary fortress. They should be able to keep that alive until the Air Force of OneStar comes across, and it does finally make its way over. The Archons tanking some damage, and there is a GG from HUK. Unfortunately, not able to take down OneStar. OneStar with a brilliant push at the start of the game here, moving in with that 2 base version of a 1-1-1, I suppose you could say, with tanks, marines, bunkers, banshees, even a raven thrown in for good fun times, and just looking very ugly from HUK for the rest of that position there. So unfortunate game for HUK, losing that one there, but great stuff from OneStar to be able to push in, siege up, and then I love the decision to sort of head back once he figured he'd done enough damage. He'd said, alright, we're cool here, I'm okay to head home, I've got a 3rd base, and HUK is sitting on a basically 1.5 bases. So good stuff from OneStar there. We'll see some more of him in the future. Of course, if you do like to see some more replays cast, grab, if you've got some of your own stuff, send it through to duckville@gmail.com. Or of course you can let me know on Twitter, and I will do my best to get some casts up for you. We'll have some more stuff coming very soon. Cheers.